So today started off like any other day in recent times. The S&P 500 was making new highs and Clover Stock, ticker symbol CLOV, was making new lows. Just another day in the market. But then I checked my portfolio later in the day and I see this. I had to take a double look to make sure this was actually true. Clover Stock was up a whopping 35% on the day. And honestly, I had to take a double take here because I was like, this makes no sense. Maybe they forgot a negative in front of it. Maybe there's some glitch out there. Why is Clover Stock up over 30% in a single day? And the ironic part is that before I saw this move in the stock, I got an email alert from Seeking Alpha on this: investors unlikely to see sharp rebound in Clover Health shares. And I was like, great, I guess I'll be bag holding this for a little while longer. I mean, if you're an analyst and you come out with something like that, it's kind of bad luck to release it on a day where the stock has its best performance ever. So I kind of feel for them, but hey, that's just the reality of the game. And that really brings me to my point. The market can be a really weird place. No one can predict what's going to happen tomorrow or even later today for that matter. Even in the best of the best on Wall Street cannot predict the market. And Clover is a perfect example. The stock is doing the complete opposite of what most of us are used to seeing and expecting to see on a daily basis. Let's be real. Every day we check our portfolio, we look at Clover Health, it's down a few percent. It just became normal now. This is a losing investment. This is not making us any money, blah, blah, blah. But then out of nowhere, boom, 30% plus upside. So what I did was I started looking now to find out what's going on. Was there like a CEO change? Did the company release some amazing numbers? Did they give us some guidance updates? What is happening? So I went on to a couple news websites, didn't really find a whole lot. Went on to Twitter and I came across this. So thanks to the Twitter user SPAC Guru for this data. But you can see here the short interest in Clover Health has gone up to nearly 150%. This is like a blast from the past. With the GameStop short interest saga, Clover seems to be the latest stock that Wall Street is shorting heavily. And well, guess what happens when you expose yourself like this? You get squeezed. You get squeezed out of your position. You got to cover your shares, and that causes the stock to pop. And that's exactly what's happening with Clover Health today. Clover as an investment, as like a fundamental company, hasn't changed. It's the same as it was yesterday. However, investors have taken notice of this massive overshort interest, over 100% once again, and they're buying heavy, which is forcing these shorts to cover. This is what you'd hear out there as a short squeeze, and I love these. When I hold stocks that have a good short interest, and something happens, some catalyst comes out there, typically it's around earnings or something like that, and the company comes out with good news, these shorts get squeezed so hard and it moves the stock so fast. I've seen this happen with Tesla, I've seen this happen with Beyond Meat, I've seen this happen with many of the stocks that I hold that have higher short interest, and sometimes these moves actually have ground and they kind of start the stock off on another huge run, which can continue for a very long time. Tesla is a perfect example. It was kind of in this $200 range for quite a while, pre-split that is. So post-split, that's like what, $50 or something. It was in that range, guys, for a while, but then those good news started coming out. More good news, more good news. Shorts just kept getting squeezed. They had to cover their shorts, push stock higher, and yeah, we're never getting back to those prices on Tesla stock. But that doesn't always happen, but that's kind of an extreme example of what could happen with a good business that is just shorted because sentiment is negative on it. And honestly, what's happening to Clover today is pretty crazy. We all remember what happened with the whole GameStop saga, right? When GameStop was around 20 to 30 bucks, it was heavily shorted, over 100%, and that caused it to spike to over $300 in a few days. And even after this historic short squeeze, it seems that Wall Street has not learned their lesson. They're still shorting stocks heavily. Now here's the thing, a lot of people hate short sellers. I don't, because short sellers are the ones that help me return massively on some of my investments because they're betting against the stock, they're betting against good businesses, and I'm like, well, you're gonna be wrong someday, so I'm gonna buy in now, Maybe in the short term, you're able to control it, move the stock lower, but eventually you're gonna have to cover that short when the business proves itself. And those are the kind of runs and profits that I wait for. So don't go out there hating short sellers. You should actually thank them, because over the long term, they actually help your stock move much higher as long as it's a good business. So the question now is, with Clover Health, where do we go from here? Well, analysts believe that Clover is still undervalued today, but there isn't a whole lot of coverage with the stock right now. But regardless, a $13 price target seems to be reasonable for the short term as a consensus. The most bullish analysts here believe that it should be around $15 per share, so they believe there's even more upside to be realized. Now here's the thing, because this is kind of a technical move on a short squeeze, it's not really a fundamental move. I don't really know if this is going to be sustainable. It's not like the business had a core change to it, which is going to make it a lot more money going forward. It's just kind of a technicality that happened and investors took advantage of it. And for now, we're benefiting from it. But like I said, sometimes these moves can be sustainable. Sometimes these moves can actually reignite a stock to start moving higher. And hey, maybe with Clover Health, this can actually maybe push it to like that $13, $14 range once again, have earnings come out or some other catalyst come out, and then push it even higher. That would be a probably best case scenario here for shareholders like myself and Clover. And I'm sure you guys that are also Clover shareholders are hoping the same. So all I'll say is maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe we see Clover back to all-time highs very soon. We'll have to wait and see how all of this shakes up. But I do want to jump over to the charts here for a second to point some things out. Alright guys, so jumping over to the charts here on TradingView, we can see that from its peak to its lowest point a few weeks ago, like a month ago or so, the stock corrected 64%. Maybe that was overdone. This was definitely driven by a few events, like the short seller report initially. And then we had the whole market kind of sell off when it comes to high growth or speculative or SPAC type stocks, and Clover is part of that. But what I'm seeing here is looks like we're starting to form some sort of strong base. We bounced off of the $7 mark quite a few times. We're finally starting to see volume pick up here today on increased volatility. And hey, maybe this thing runs much higher. We got close to $10. We actually touched $10 today. We've pulled back a little bit now. And it seems like these moving averages right here, the 50, which is the green, and the 100, which is the orange, is providing a lot of resistance right now. What I do want to see happen is I want to see the stock close above at least one of these averages, then maybe next week close above the other, and then finally over the 200, which is going to be the strongest level of resistance. And once we can clear these three averages, guys, so say once we're at like $11 and we actually close at $11 or above on the day, that would be a bullish sign, and that could be a signal that we start running back to all-time highs. Until that happens, I don't really see a lot of upside here in the stock. Even though we're up nicely today, I'm still down massively. I think my cost base is like 14 something dollars, so I'm still down quite a bit. And until I see a clear breakout here, again, over $11, I'm not going to be holding my breath on this one to have a huge run up. So guys, as of today, I still hold my Clover Health position. If you recall, a few weeks ago, I told you I was debating maybe I'll sell out of it and buy into another stock that I could see equivalent upside on. Never got around to that. I've been focused on a few other things when it comes to stocks, a few other positions I've been building out. A new one that I've been buying heavy, I will be releasing a video soon on that. But the thing is, with Clover, it was always meant to be a speculative position. It was never a large position in my portfolio. I added a bit into this, it dropped, I added a little more, and then I stopped. I was like, this is as much money as I'm willing to risk on this company. It is speculative. I don't know what's going to happen over the next, 3, 5, 10 years with the stock. But I do want to have some exposure. I'll place a bet here on Chamath, on, the healthcare industry. And so far, it's not done too well for me. But that's okay. Like I said, it makes up a fraction of my portfolio. Pretty negligible even if this goes to zero. So I'll just kind of let it ride for now, and maybe over the next few weeks, we actually come out green on this stock. And I think this is a very important lesson because it comes down to risk management, right? This company, I did not have high conviction in. I did not understand fully inside and out like I do for most of my investments. And I did not really believe all that much in it. I believed the story, but the fundamentals were still lacking. And it just goes to show when tough times come around, stocks like Clover Health just get destroyed, which is why risk management is so important. And when I see people throwing in 5, 10, 15, 20% of their portfolio in stocks like Clover Health or any of these other SPACs that have recently come out, it makes me shake my head, honestly. And it makes me sad. It's like, I really hope it works out, but a lot of them are just not going to work out. And if anything, I hope that's a valuable lesson, and I hope investors don't get discouraged by those losses. But anyways, I won't be buying any more Clover Health. I'll continue holding for now just to see how this story plays out. And hey, maybe we make a lot of money on this, maybe not. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think is going to happen here with this whole Clover saga. Do you believe we can actually run like GameStop did to maybe like $50, $100 per share? That'd be pretty awesome to see, but I'm not really holding my breath on that happening, but hey, anything's possible. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.